I love me some Japan exclusive TCG products. Maybe because they're more alluring, plain hard to get, who knows? But one of my favorites is this bad boy right here, the Pokemon Movie 10th Anniversary Premium Commemorative Collection, which my copy has some scuffs and some pretty weird looking edges there, but it's what's inside that counts, which are Pokemon TCG cards inspired by each of the 10 movies that had come out at that point, the 10th being Darkrai over here. So, starting with the Latios movie in 2002, Pokemon began to release these special half decks, which would contain all cards that were based on characters and Pokemon from the movie. So within the Latios movie, you got cards owned by Annie and Oakley, Misty's Corsola and Politoed were in there, and then you got Pokemon named after the place itself, which is Altomare. So you got Altomares, Kabutops, Aerodactyl, Latios, and that tradition continued throughout all of the movies up until the 10th movie, actually, where you would get just a half deck based on whatever characters and Pokemon were in that movie. And it was really fun. And those were also Japan exclusive. They had really cool packaging. I'm going to throw some up just so you guys know. Let me move to the side so I can fit them in. So yeah, these are really collectible. The individual cards themselves look really nice. They're really cool because they are named cards. If you are familiar with the Versus series, every Pokemon in that set was a named card owned by a gym leader or an Elite Four member, and they were all basic Pokemon. So a really unique set, and that tradition has kind of carried on throughout the years with these movie half decks. And, you know, they kind of had to break tradition a little bit with the Deoxys movie because Deoxys wasn't really from anywhere in particular other than space, and it wasn't an owned Pokemon. So instead they gave it the name Sky Splitting Deoxys, which is more in line with what they've done with the 10th Anniversary Commemorative set, where they've given each Pokemon its own name, but associated more with the movie it's from instead of whatever trainer it belonged to. So let's take a closer look at the set itself and then get into the individual cards. So the folder itself is made of some kind of flimsy cardboard, but it is glossy cardboard, so that's very nice. I really like the simple black look. Once you get inside, you can see that there's a slot for each Pokemon card with its name above that slot, and then these really nice folder protectors behind there that really keep the cards safe and crisp. Some of the best protectors I've seen, actually. But as you go through the movies throughout the years, you see there's representation, 1 or 2 Pokemon per movie, all the way up to Darkrai, which was the 10th movie. To get one of these folders, you had to be at the 2007 World Hobby Fair, and when you picked it up, the Darkrai card was not included. It was expected that you would go to the movie theater, watch the movie, and get the promo card from there, thus completing your collection. I absolutely love the backboard of this folder that gives the silhouettes for each Pokemon with the year that its movie was released, and then the name of the card below in Japanese. So unlike your typical card holder sleeve pages, these even have little flaps at the top to prevent even dust getting in from the top. And I just wanted to pull out one of these cards and show you a closer look because some of these cards are absolutely beautiful. They have wonderful, colorful backgrounds that really shimmer, and just putting up an image of the card isn't enough to really show off how spectacular it is. You get those wonderful silver borders, and this set even has its own unique set symbol down at the bottom, except for Darkrai. You'll notice that it has its Black Star promo set symbol instead of the commemorative set symbol, and that's because this was given out at movie theaters, so it's considered one of the Diamond and Pearl promos instead of a commemorative one. And you'll see this one also has some really nice shimmer on it. And it's unique in that it's holding an item and has 2 pretty unique attacks that Darkrai doesn't usually have. Diving into these individual cards, we first have Striking Back Mewtwo, which is a great name and a great pose. You get those giant back-to-tank looking vials in the background there, showing that it's kind of still in the lab. And then you get 2 attacks that are really reminiscent of base set Mewtwo and the Black Star promo Mewtwo that was originally released with Mewtwo Strikes Back. And next we have Explosive Birth Lugia, which, yeah, the translation doesn't come across as great there, but this is one of those cards in this set where you really need to see it in the right light because the background really does come to life when you move it back and forth and you get the colors, the blues and the blacks really popping. And I'm really glad that its two attacks are Hyper Beam and Aeroblast, because that's all Lugia does in Pokemon the Movie 2000. It fires off Hyper Beams left and right, and thankfully this Lugia is much more usable than the original Lugia we got in Neo Genesis. Crystal Tower Entei is also fairly usable. These are promo cards just for the collection. Their main purpose is to be pretty, but it is nice to have some Pokemon that are even a little bit usable if you wanted to make some kind of theme deck based around the movies. The artwork isn't really one of my favorites out of this set. Because of the art, it looks a lot softer, almost cuddly, but that may be on purpose since its role in the movie was to just be a father figure to the main character. But just for me personally, when I see a legendary Pokemon card, I want the pose to be very dynamic and powerful, more like the reverse holo Entei promo that we did get with the third Pokemon movie. Timeless Celebi, another one of these cards that you really need to see up close to really get the details of the glimmering trees that are in the background. And this is actually a pretty decent grass type Haymaker card, which is pretty rare in the TCG. And going back to the original half decks that I was talking about earlier, we got Altomare Latias and Altomare Latios. Now these cards do come across kind of bland on their own because the entire card's kind of this silvery white. But when you look at them in the context of the entire collection, you have all of these bright colors around them, then the red and the blue of Latios and Latias really pop with that really glimmery silvery background. And I get that Latios and Latias are kind of a pair of legendaries, but I really kind of wish that one of them would have been cut in this set in order to make room for either an Absol or a Rayquaza. I think those would have been much better additions that really would have livened up the colors a little more, especially a dark type Absol card, just because it would contrast so well with the bright colors of all of the other cards, and dark type holographic cards always look beautiful anyway. Next we have Seven Knights Jirachi, which first of all, cool name, great background, fun art, and also two really cool attacks. Future Sight's really handy. Jirachi cards typically have really great Pokemon powers and attacks that are usually related to game control or refreshing your hand. And then also Doom Desire. This isn't the only Jirachi card to have Doom Desire, but I'm glad it's on this one because it's such a cool, unique attack. Instant KOs are always really fun. It's really easy to get out of, but if your opponent doesn't have a way to, then it can be really intimidating. Visitor Deoxys also gets its signature attack in Psycho Boost, which is pretty decent. The card is better because of Recover. The idea being that you're using Recover every other turn so that Psycho Boost is always going to be hitting for 60, just on alternate turns. And you're probably sick of me saying it, but backgrounds. You get the cityscape from Destiny Deoxys in the background there, which really livens up this card. And it takes you back to watching that movie and be like, oh yeah, Deoxys was actually kind of fucking scary when it came down. This is another iffy one for me. This is Tree of Beginnings Mew. And I understand that Mew's name is in the title of the Lucario movie, but there's already two other psychic types in this set. And Mew doesn't really feature all that much in the movie. Again, I would have rather seen an Absol or a Rayquaza card, but people love Mew, and it's technically been in two movies at this point, so I understand why it's in the set. But it does have two pretty decent attacks, Psychic especially for only 2 energy, and then Teleport is a free switch. And the art is fun and cute, but it is nothing compared to Wave Guiding Hero Lucario. The reason I brought this card out of the binder to show off in the video is because the background is so beautiful. The blue of the Aura Sphere contrasts so well with the orange and the magenta in the background. And then you just have all these small details around Lucario. I love when Pokemon cards show the Pokemon using an attack. You actually get Aura Sphere, which is a really nice sniping attack on this card. Close combat is hampered down a little bit by that increased damage next turn, but that's also representative of Lucario as a Pokemon and close combat as a move. Weirdly enough, it's my favorite card in this set, and it's the only one that's not a mythical or a legendary, and I don't even really care for the movie all that much, but this is a great card. Going back to color contrast, I'm really glad that a water Pokemon is included in this set because the blues do really contrast really well, especially with the silvery, the red, and the green cards. Sadly, there wasn't an electric type Pokemon from the first 10 movies that they really could have included, other than Zapdos, but it would have been out of place since Lugia is already in there. But this is Prince of the Sea Manaphy, and that's about all I really have to say about it. So as I said earlier, when you bought the commemorative set, it didn't include the Darkrai card. It was assumed that you were going to go to the movie and obtain that card to finish the collection, and so it really looked like this, and you had that blank spot there. And oddly enough, this Darkrai was actually translated into English, but it's the only one from the set. It was printed as a Diamond and Pearl promo, and it just has little interesting tidbits all around. Because it came from a movie that also included Palkia and Dialga, it gets both of their signature moves in Spatial Rend and Roar of Time, which are both pretty neat utility attacks. Pretty difficult to both use within the same game without the help of something like Rainbow Energy, but it's still just a really cool way to represent Darkrai's role in that movie. It has a weakness to fighting, which is kind of offset by the Enigma Berry that it has on there, which actually heals up damage done from fighting types. And fighting type decks were a huge part of the metagame in the Diamond and Pearl era. Not that it really makes this card more or less usable at all. And what a great way to cap off 10 years of 10 Pokemon movies with such a representative card of the movie that it came from. It really makes me wish that there would have been a 20th anniversary package for the 20th Pokemon movie. You could have included Giratina, Shaman, Genesect, Kyurem, all kinds of great cards that could have had really unique artwork. But what we got instead was the launch of a brand new Pokemon movie continuity. That's 2 movies deep now, and it looks like we're not really going to get more promotional movie TCG products, be it Japan exclusive or worldwide release. We'll see. The closest we're probably going to get is stuff like the Detective Pikachu set that came out, and I love talking about those kinds of cards on the channel because they are really unique within the TCG. So, know in the future that if we do get any more TCG movie products, that I will be talking about them on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Check out the Drunk Shuckle Instagram page for some more juicy tidbits about the channel. And until next time, guys,